What's up, everyone? I told you.
Don't worry about it. Just introduce.
Welcome to another Stay Fit
Hi, everybody.
Friday. I'm your Fit Favor host, Mr. Josh.
Man, he's the best delusional host. I'm your favorite host.
I'm gonna fix this green screen.
It fell on us right before the time, and I was like, just sit down. We'll take care of it during
Tell
the
me
show.
the truth. You broke it.
I didn't have nothing to do with it. I get blamed for everything already, so stop it, Josh. A little higher on this side, and you got it. You got more in the middle. All right, so anyways, I'm glad you can all make it here tonight. Another Stay Fishy Friday. Love this day. And I'm loving it because the new schedule with the nurses, Mara stays here till 8 o'clock when she works. And that is awesome. I don't have to worry about Tracy. She's well taken care of. And, I love it. It's making my life easier. So, welcome to the show.
You gotta get your big butt out the way. I gotta get this through.
Oh, my goodness.
There we go.
We're still here, guys. Here, I'll move so you can see Josh's butt. There's no crack today. No butt crack. All right.
All right, now don't break it this time.
I didn't touch it. You broke it. What's the word for today?
All right, so I thought about this long and hard. All right.
Okay. I like that. You're speaking up finally. Usually you're so much quieter and I'm booming over you. Now you're nice and loud. I like it.
You're gonna have to wait. We're gonna keep this suspenseful while I fix my chair. I get myself ready. All right.
I'm gonna go ahead and move this over and pop out
So,
the chat.
We have some very special mods in the chat tonight, and two of them are celebrating their 5-year wedding anniversary, Mr. Anthony and Brittany Ziblis. Okay. So let's go ahead and
you know them as AZ Fishroom and Brittany Ziblis.
And we're gonna have, the drinking word for the night is happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. I like it.
All right, now let me.
All right, I'm gonna pop this chat out. Sorry, we usually have this done beforehand, but I was in the shower. My hair's still wet.
He came out, just wanted to rip down the green screen and cause havoc.
Did not touch that screen. That was all Josh. Why are you doing this to me?
It was me. It's just fun for one this way. All right, I've got the chat up. We should be good to rock and roll now.
Wow, lots in the chat. Okay. And it's flying by. I didn't get to see none of this. Usually I read what you guys say and I'm caught up, by the time I'm here, but I literally ran out of the shower, threw my clothes on as I'm running through the house, and I made it here, and he's pulling down the back screen. Okay. I see Jim Sheasley's here, along with a bunch of others, our friends, but the reason I bring up Jim Sheasley is he brought me something, and I have to show it to you guys, so remember that. Look at AZ. He's on the Brian video today. We're on Brian Barczyk's video today, and we're hoping to get a few hundred, maybe even 1,000 followers from his channel over to us. So,
speaking of that, there's a lot of negative Nancy's online, and there's always new people that come on to the channel and they don't know what we're about, and a lot of people don't see us working with Brian Barczyk as a good thing. But let me tell you, it 100% is, because he is not only working with one of the greatest names in the hobby, that name is also helping him construct, design, and build his entire aquarium. So we know from the ground up, it's going to be a top-notch build.
And he's got top people building this whole filtration system. I started talking to him about it, and he started naming names. I'm like, whoa, okay. And we have some of their filters here under the 580.
You guys know some of the best sumps out there are made by Bigrich, and the owner of that company, Steve, is the one who's helping him with this public aquarium. So
he's sparing no expense. He's
going all out.
Yeah, he's going all out.
I heard a happy anniversary. There you go. But yeah, this does two things. For one, Brian gets to get fish to stock his aquarium, and I'm looking at this as like we kind of get a clean slate. So we get to not only give our friend a bunch of cool fish, we also get to lighten our load and basically find a great home for a bunch of fish that we've been sitting on to wait to go to a better home
Right.
that we can
Now, see,
provide.
what we do every, I don't know, 6 months to a year, whenever we get packed, we call all 9 of the public aquariums we work with. And, a lot of them ain't interested. They have plenty. They don't want this or that. They'll take that one fish, but they don't want to send a truck, a few states over for, one fish that they're interested in. So when we find the right public aquarium that says, okay, I'll take all of that, that's the one we call in, and then they come in. And, of course, I'd say 7 of the 9 don't want to be on camera. They don't want, I don't know if it's liability or insurance reasons or whatever, but they don't want to be on camera on this. So you guys just see that we're now missing a bunch of fish. And that's the days that we give out to the public aquariums, and they come. I used to be able to put some on video, like when Electric City was coming here, and there was another one that sent that guy that was like really slow and dopey,
The one we don't work with no more.
Yeah, who was that? It don't matter. Don't matter. It's not. The company took enough slack or flack from that guy working there, and he got fired, I guess, eventually. But so we don't want to burden their name anymore. But we really, they haven't really called us and don't answer our calls now. So I don't know if they're mad at us for airing that video with him walking to the. He put the pacu right in a 5-gallon bucket with no water and walked slowly all the way to the truck. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm like, I'm behind him with the camera. I'm like, it was tense. So I didn't like it. No one else liked it. And that was just a bad thing. So we don't work with them no more. But, that's what happens when, all of a sudden, we thin out. People are like, getting on us because, you're getting too full and the fish tanks are getting over full. Well, that's when we call in the public aquariums. We got to do this. We can't call them in weekly. They can't send trucks out across, a few states to come get fish weekly. They'll wait until we're full and they can take a bunch. And that's what we do. That's how we do things. That's how we offload. When we're getting full and we can't handle really much no more, we put the calls in and we start talking to everybody. Well, now we don't even have to put the calls in because Brian's building this. The hard part's going to be for us is holding these fish and these tanks and everything else we're going to donate to him, all this coral structures and stuff. We got to hold it here until he's got his tanks in and cycled. So it's going to have to mature, So once it's up and running, we got to wait at least 6 weeks for that, because then you can put in 1 or 2 fish. You can't put in a truckload of fish unless it's multiple tanks, of course. But these are all big fish. So we're going to have to really, I talked to him about using ammonia and pouring it in. And we're talking like a half gallon a day to build enough bacteria up in that system to handle big fish so that he can stop pouring in the ammonia and just put the big fish in there. So, we've got this all. Have faith in us. We got this. We're not going to, put the fish in danger. I know what happened last time. We lost, I think, 2 fish. We took Brian 4 fish, and he swore his snapping turtle was so nice. He's never snapped at anybody. He petted on his head and stuff like that. You don't go after the fish. You don't go after the snakes, nothing. So we believed him, and next thing you know, I think we lost the iridescent shark and Oscar got eaten by the snapping turtle, and he got the rest of the fish out. And we caught all kinds of heck for that. But, I believed one of the most renowned reptile guys around, you know what I'm saying? So I told him that you can't put that in with them, and he's like, oh no, this guy's, he's old, he's special, he's I won't fall for it again, guys. So
Austin McGoldrick says, Josh, I've always admired your work ethic in the videos. How do you balance work, wife, baby, and the fish? There are so many hours in the day. It's tough, but you just take it one step at a time, one day at a time. You make time for what's important. You got to make sure you're doing the family thing with the newborn.
And they see things like you're putting out videos of you being here and moving big tanks and all this and that. They don't realize you're here a half hour to an hour a night after work, and he hurries up and feeds the fish, and then he goes home and takes care of the family and stuff. He's got a newborn. He's got stuff at his house he's got to do and take care of. And by putting out the videos, people see this and thinks he's here all the time. So, he's balancing it really good. His wife ain't getting mad at him yet. I'm saying yet. You spend all your time over there. Nothing. She's a sweetheart and everything's good. And then, on the weekends, that's when we do these big things. and he'll make 2 or 3 videos out of that, so he can give it out a couple times. So what looks like, an 8-hour job, what?
She just texted me, said, LOL, you're there 2+ hours a night.
No, Brittany, that is wrong. Like yesterday, he was only here about, half hour, Yeah. Yes. And you hurried up and fed, and then you had to leave. I asked you if you could help me get the Tracy's script, and you're like, I ain't got time. I got to get home.
Because I feed right before I leave. I was out there in the fish room doing stuff before I even walked in here. But I didn't get home yesterday until about 6. Usually hit your 4th.
There's been a couple times when he's here a couple hours, but Raheem says, Big Rich, your hairstyle's a bit different. No, I just got out of the shower. It's still weighed down with the wetness. It's just starting to dry. So it'll poof out a little more as time goes on. I saw something in here about some angelfish. Guy needed help. I want to pass that up. Right here. Nicole Wessel says, I need help with my angels. They keep getting a white film over their eyes. I've done medications, full water changes, and it keeps happening. A few have passed away. I don't know what it could be causing it. I see. Without us knowing the parameters, did you just put a filter on there and you don't have a cycle built up? It could be, there's ammonia in the water, there's nitrites in the water, and bad water conditions always gives you cloudy eye. And cloudy eye and pop eye is from bad water conditions. So either you don't have enough filtration or you just put the tank together and it don't have enough bacterial filtration in there. Keep doing water changes. That helps. Use the medication that whatever you have there, anything for a bacterial infection, which is, cloudy eye. It turns into fungal when you start seeing the white cottony stuff off of the eye, like pop eye and then fungal infection. So right now it's a bacterial infection, just the white cloudiness on them. It's not fungal.
All right. Chris Trapp.
Any other advice?
Not really. I was already moving on to the next question.
I know, but that's why I was asking your advice before we moved on.
Chris Trapp says, did you see Their World Aquatics recent video?
Yeah.
Hang on, guy might be selling a 30-foot long SeaWorld tank. Well, you see, I sold him that tank.
No, actually, no. We sold Brian McDermott the exact matching tank, just like it. There was 2 of them there. We got the second one. There was 2 that one got sold before us, and that's this guy's, because he bought it from the field out in Medina. That's where we got ours from. We bought the same exact tank that was there, and the bass tank and the Frontosa tank all at the same time. And we didn't have a place for that tank. It was too gaudy, and then it had these trapezoidal sides and it had big chunks in the inside. It was just too. It wasn't for us. We wanted big open areas.
That's the tank we sold to Brian.
Right, that's the tank we sold to Brian.
And that's the tank that's on the video.
No, it is not. There were 2 of the exact same size, exact same looks, exact same plunge filters.
McDermott in the video. That is Brian, 100%. Brian McDermott. Yes, we sold him that tank. If it was a perfect square.
I watched the video. It was
That's Brian.
I did not see Brian in there.
It's him. The tank is 28 foot long, 6 foot from front to back, and 4 foot tall. Now, if it was a perfect square, it would be 5,000 gallons. But like he said, it's not a perfect square.
Yeah.
The corners are cut off, and there's 2 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot cutouts. You calculate that out. Back. That takes out 500 gallons out of the tank.
Didn't we figure out it was 3650 or something like that?
I did my best calculations on the tank, and it was under 4,000 gallons there. We still held supreme at 4,400 gallons, because we would never have sold someone a tank that's bigger than us right down the road. But yes, we've seen the tank. We absolutely don't want it, and here's the reason why. That tank sat outside for 10 plus years.
Outside in the snow.
It was beat on.
Right around the windows, all the water had seeped in, and the wood was swelling up. Brian took like 12 by 12 timbers to set it on, and then he took metal and clamped it together and did all this stuff to it to make it work. I would not touch that tank. I don't want nothing to do with it.
Our tanks that came from SeaWorld that sat inside of a warehouse, covered, not being touched, are already starting to fail. So I can only imagine someone's going to end up buying that tank, and it's going to be a disaster.
I wish I'd have known because I didn't see Brian in there. So I thought that was the other tank. There was 2 tanks. So I thought this guy had bought the other one, and we sold ours to Brian. He still got it.
That tank went to Pennsylvania.
Okay. If Brian is selling it, trust me, it's a fortune. He is just a horrible human being. I mean, we won't talk to him no more. We don't help him. I mean, as a matter of fact, check this out. When we did the pond to pool conversion, now, mind you, I gave him a 1,000-gallon tank for free for helping us. He brought his Bobcat over, helped us move the tanks in and stuff like that. And, all this stuff. And then Greg Woodstock comes in and he does this renovation on our pool for us. Great thing by Greg Woodstock. It was awesome. And then, Greg calls me and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I hear you're dealing drugs now. And I'm like, no, what the heck are you talking about? And he goes, I got a message from Brian McDermott saying that, I'm helping you out and you're nothing but a drug dealer and stuff. And I'm like, what? There's no way. Brian would not say that. Brian's a friend of ours. I just literally gave him a 1,000-gallon tank like 2 weeks ago. Greg Woodstock sent me the text of Brian saying this about us. Now, I went at him. I'm like, why would you do something like this? I don't mess with drugs at all, period. There's no drugs in my house. I'm open to the public all the time. I'm on camera all the time. There's no drugs anywhere. And, this is a family, show and stuff like that. And he's, he hung up on me and stuff like that. So finally, I got a hold of him, and he tried to apologize. And he has sent me like 16 messages that I just will not answer, trying to say he's sorry and blah, blah, blah. But I don't understand how you can be friends to somebody's face and then turn around and make something up like that. For what reason? Is he trying to get Greg mad at me? Is he jealous because Greg did this for me and not him? I mean, I don't understand why he would do this. There was no sense in it. So, yeah, if this is from Brian, I almost said Barczyk. Brian, what's his name? McDermott. Yeah, stay away from that tank. That is not a good tank. That is a scary tank. And we passed on it, what was it, 8 years ago? 5 years ago? Something like that?
I think it was like 3, 4.
4 years ago? Okay. Yeah. I'll go with that. It was horrible. And, we passed on it then. We didn't want it. We sold it to Brian and told him everything was wrong with it. He had to have it. So basically, we got our 2 tanks for free, selling it to Brian for, so it worked out for everybody. Brian was happy. I was happy. I don't know. I just won't answer his calls or his texts no more. I mean, the guy is just a lunatic. And I didn't know that was his. I watched the video, and I did not see him in it. I thought it was
Yeah, it's his new house that he built.
Okay, because I didn't recognize anything there. Because the house we gave it to him he had it in his barn, set up in the middle of the barn.
Yeah, he's getting out of the hobby, selling everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or maybe all his shady dealings he was doing in the plumbing world caught up to him because we had people coming over here.
Everyone that has dealt with him. A lot of my friends who deal with fish around here used to sell them all sorts of stuff. Won't deal with him. Won't buy fish from him. Won't.
Some of his past workers have showed up here and said, "Oh yeah, I hear Brian and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Why are you bringing him up?" And they're like, "Well, he owes me 3 weeks of pay. He's never paid me, and this and that." I mean,
well, it's not.
Yeah, let's go on. Happier, better things.
Just caution. If anyone's wanting to buy the tanks, just caution. That's all.
Yeah.
All we say.
Steer clear of it. Tony Skinner says, "Who needs enemies with friends like that?" Good job. We're passing on this, okay? We're going on next. Great people to make up.
Marlonette, she says, I bet Hoover's somewhere organizing his Debbie cakes.
Yes, he is. I'd love to sneak a camera down there and he's like, okay, I've got 15 of these. I've got 12 of these. And the whole time he's, just sitting there eating one and, organizing the rest. Because he comes up here and he's like, I know how many Debbies I got. Okay. I never got into his Debbies. One time when a bunch of kids were here on a tour, he had his Debbies in the counter in here, the cupboard. I opened it up. I'm like, I'm going to open up this box of Debbies and I will buy it for Hoover. Well, he came home before I was able to buy him one. So as soon as he started, I shut him up. We went to the store. I bought him his thing to replace it. And I'm like, there were kids here. You would have done the same thing. You would have given them out, So we love having kids here. And, I usually have the Swedish fish in the wrappers to give out to kids. So they're getting to view the fish and they're getting to eat fish. Oh, we forgot the Tracy update. We're going on with the show. All right, guys, let's go to the Tracy update. Please, somebody put it in there at what time the Tracy update starts. But, okay.
Brendan Zimla says, Hoover Little Debbie mukbang video. Please, no.
No. Okay. So now on the Tracy update, she is such a little sweetheart. I love my mornings with her because I'll come in there and I wake her up gently, So if I go in there and just start suctioning her out, she wakes up and freaks out, So I go in there and I rub her hair and, pull it back out of her face. I'm like, hi, honey, good morning. And I'm right in her ear and she turns her head and her eyes are pointing this way and she's like intently staring at me as I'm talking to her. And I tell her everything that's going on and I tell her every day that, her youngest had a baby girl and you got to be here, honey. Her name is Alora. And I tell her every day, And there's been days where, tears are coming out her eyes. I know she's hearing me, And she's most aware first thing in the morning when I wake her up with me. And I love it. I love it. So I talk to her like that all morning. And then I start doing things. I got to change her. I got to, reposition her. I got to get her ready for her food. And then I got to make her food and, make sure that she hasn't scratched herself because her nails, she digs into her sides, so when she gets tense, she'll just grab on. So we now keep a pillowcase over her legs and between her hands so that she can't hurt herself like that. What was it? What else are we getting at? I think that's all I got to do. Oh, then I got to, make her pills and her, food with the Pro Source in it. It's a protein thing to help muscles grow. And, I get it going and, I get it going. And then, I have to suction her out then when she's awake before food goes. Because if she coughs while the food's dripping into her belly, it pushes the food back up and out. And the contents of her stomach push up through the line. So I usually have to, suction her out beforehand and then start letting the food drip in. And, her aeration comes up. Oh, that's another thing. She's been on 2, right, Mara? 2? 2 for 2.5 days now. Before that, she was on, I believe it was 2.5 for like 3 days. She is doing great. Whatever sickness that she was in that made her desaturate, and we had to keep on, internally suction her out because she wasn't coughing it out. She is coughing great now. Anytime she gets any mucus in her lungs, she'll just cough it out. And, it comes out her trach hole, and it hits the trach, cover, and then it drains down into the bib that I made. And we suction that out. That's a whole lot better than turning a physical tube down in her throat and scraping her insides all the way down, 12 times a day and, 8 times a night, something like that. She would bleed. Actually, when she's coughing, there'd be, specks of blood in there or a little strip of blood, And now we don't get that. She coughs on her own. So every time she gets down to like 93, 94, she'll cough and go right back to 97, 98. On 2, which is great. We haven't had to raise it up. So it's getting easier to take care of her, and she is more healthy now. The doctor was just here yesterday, I believe. We got a new doctor, Dr. Emmanuel. Young girl, actually. How old do you think she is, Mara?
She's 33 years old.
33?
Yeah.
She looks like she's 25, don't she?
Well, to become a doctor, you have to go through so much schooling.
8 years total, yeah.
25-year-old doctor is kind of...
It's doable. Look at Doozy Howser. It's happenable. It can happen. So anyways, very nice, very sweet lady. She is so concerned with Tracy. She loves how we have her whole hospital set up here. And, it's just a great area. She says this is like the most closest to a hospital room I've ever seen, and you've got everything on hand, and she's don't need nothing, and you guys got this. She was just very, very happy with that. She's doing so well, and here's what I want to say. She started when she first came home. She just laid there stiff as a board, and her arms were like this, and her feet were pointing down, and now she lays there. She's very loose. I pick up her arm, and she's like, she's very loose, which is very good. And, she first started getting, feeling in her feet and, tickling in her feet. And then her knees, she noticed the ice cube behind her knees and stuff like that. And she pulled away, and it seems to me she's getting her feeling back through her body and her movement back through her body from her feet up, because now she's lifted her whole legs off the bed, feet and all, everything. Before she would just slide her knees up and the feet would slide up the bed. Now she's lifting them off the bed, and when I'm changing her and the diaper and all that kind of stuff. And oh my God, the strength this woman's got. I mean, to put the diaper on, sometimes to get her knees apart, I have to put my hand on one knee and pry it open and put my elbow on this side. So I'm holding her knees open so this hand can put the diaper up in between and all that. She's got incredible strength, which when she came home from the hospital, she looked like a saggy bag of bones, no muscle anywhere, and just skin flabbing, and it was horrible. She looked like like she was a living dead. It was horrible. Now she looks like Tracy just laid down in bed and went to sleep. She's back to having her full body style. And with the way we changed her food around, because she had gotten up to 125, and I've told you all this before, so the doctors had the wrong input into their thing, saying that her normal weight was 125. So they ordered us to feed her 4 times a day, 250 milligrams of food each time, and then 250 milligrams of water and 100 milligrams of chase water afterwards. And, and she's up to 125. Well, I've got her back down now. She's about 112 now, maybe 110. I haven't measured her, weighed her in a couple maybe 2 weeks. And, but she's back to being thin again. And her stomach doesn't feel bloated and pudgy. And, we're going to keep monitoring and get her back to her, her normal weight was 99 to 101 her whole life. But laying here in bed, let's say 110, okay, just to have her some extra weight on her. Extra weight never hurt nobody. It makes it easier, more padding for the bones and all that stuff. So I'm good with 110. Let's keep her around 110. We don't want to keep her at 125. She's just too much, and it's hard to move her and all that stuff. And if she woke up, she'd be like, what is going on? Am I pregnant? Is something? I don't know. But she would be mad. She was always, thin and skinny and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to keep her around 110. So I played with the amounts of food to give her, because the nurses have to give what the doctors order. So when the nurses leave, I feed Tracy, or I withhold her 4th feeding until I got to the point. I kept on withholding, every week I'd weigh her, and then I'm withholding 1. Next week I'm withholding 2. And I got to where I was withholding 4 nights a week and feeding her 3 nights a week, and she was staying the same level at like 116, 118. So then I took out another one, and we got her down to, it was 112 like 2 weeks ago. So I know that once we get her to the weight that we want, she can go back on 1 more feeding at nighttime, and so 3 a week, and she'll stay the same weight, and that'll be good. So we've got that figured out, and I've got the doctor working on sending us new orders, because he figured out, I told him that their information in their chart is wrong. That was somebody else. The same way that in her chart it says while she was in the hospital, she suffered a severe pitchfork accident and was impaled on a pitchfork. I'm like, no, she didn't. She was in the hospital with you guys. Yeah, it's in her chart that she had a pitchfork accident, the dates that she was in the hospital. I'm like, you're cross-referencing her with somebody else.
Why have I never heard of this?
I don't know. It was like last year. I mean, I threw a fit and I called the hospitals and I did all this. And I'm like, no, this never happened to her.
I'm your son. You're supposed to tell me these things.
Well,
What's going on here?
It was a clerical error.
Do you not love me anymore?
Stop it.
I mean, I think I deserve to know if my mom was impaled by a pitchfork.
If that actually happened, yes. But it didn't happen. She was in the hospital during the date and time.
Is there something you need to tell me?
Yeah, the hospital impaled your mother with a pitchfork because she was there. Why do they have a pitchfork in the hospital? I do not know. But no, so she's cross-referencing somebody else's records onto Tracy. So we got that all cleared up. And now the doctor's giving me orders for less food because they were trying to get her back to 125. You need this much feeding a day, to gain weight. And that's not what we needed with Tracy, So we got it all figured out, and we're working on this. And, we've got the new curtains now. I wish I could show you guys, but me and Josh and we went.
You can just look right there.
Yeah, it's right there. We went and got conduit, like 2-inch conduit, and we hooked it to the wall all the way over to the beams going across and an elbow up. And now we've got I think it's a 12-foot run. I took shower curtains and with rollers on them and hooked them to a sheet. Now the nurses can pull out this all the way out, and whenever they change Tracy, they can pull it out and nobody can walk in on them. Before, Tracy had to, or the nurses had to, announce, I'm changing Tracy, nobody come in here.
You know what? I must say, out of all your DIY prep projects,
There's a lot of them.
You always figure out a way to get it done. But when I see that, I'm like, damn, I couldn't have done that better myself. So you did.
So you're impressed by Daddy.
You did a good job.
And then I've got another one on the other side. When you walk through
some
here,
of the other projects, I'm like, I could have done better.
oh my God. You're talking about building ramps when you were kids with the bicycles? Yeah, with the cinder blocks and the plywood? Yeah. That wasn't the greatest.
Slam Boy's asking if I'm your blood.
Yes. I had two boys with Tracy.
So we think.
Well,
for the first half of my life, I was told I was the mailman's son.
I did tell him that. Well, because he's so dang hairy. I didn't get hair on my chest until I turned 50. I didn't get hair on my chest until I turned 50. I had a lot of Cherokee Indian in me. And he's just the hairiest little baby, and his leg hair is like a woolly mammoth, he's like Bigfoot and shit. And I'm like, Tracy, I swear that's not my kid, but I loved my boys, okay? My boys were my life, and I never wanted, I had a little doubt there, but I never wanted to send them in for a test, because what if it came back that they're not mine? So I never went that route. I just loved my boys. And now, after Tracy came home from she was in the nursing home and then the hospital for like the first year when COVID was there and I couldn't visit her. Well, they sent her home. When I fought to get her home, I bring her home. Her nails were like I think it was 5 months earlier. We were there and painted her nails pink. Them nails, the pink nails were way out here, and then there was like a growth of nail that curved down. They never cut her toenails, never cut her fingernails, and never shaved her legs. I finally seen where Josh gets his hair from. She had a woolly mammoth leg. I'm like, holy shit, she's got more hair on her legs than I do. I'm like, holy shit. So we keep her legs shaved now at home, and she's back to being girly and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, for years I was like, that's your kid, he's the mailman. So don't yell at me. You go get your kid.
All right, so there was a question previously. I forget who posted it because I can't find it, but they were wanting to know cichlids that can go in with Oscars and Bichers. There is a wide variety. You can do a majority of African cichlids.
None of them when they're babies.
American.
They have to be full grown when you put them together.
Of course, you have to go on about size. You want to make sure they don't get eaten. But I mean, those fish are compatible with a lot of cichlids out there. So pretty much anything in this tank you see behind us can go in there with them, and anything you see in Central American, South American tanks, you can most likely put them in there.
The problem is the small size. You put 10 cichlids in with 2 Oscars in a 75-gallon. Well, the cichlids are going to fight over territory, and the Oscars are going to fight over territory, and they're going to end up killing each other. You need a bigger tank to have territorial fish together. Remember, cichlids are very territorial. Oscar is a type of cichlid. So
wait, what?
Don't tell me you didn't know this.
An Oscar's a cichlid?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Where's my phone?
Only messing with you.
Oh, I thought you were serious. Wow.
People are saying I'm on a roll tonight, so I just got to keep it going. And I'm not going to mention that. We've got another question here about peacock bass. So I just got myself a 324 karat gold Kelberry peacock bass. They're about 5 to 6 inches. I'm having problems getting them to eat. Any suggestions? I've had them 5 days.
It is a type of South American
I
cichlid.
know they are.
just proving my point.
So as far as bass, so the best thing to get them to eat prepared foods is competition. If you have another fish that tears after the food, You put them baby bass in there, and they see a gourami or something else coming after the food. Them bass are going to see it, and they're going to want to take the food. So, just if you have something in another tank that eats the food you want them to eat, put them in there, give them a day or two, and they'll be on the food like crazy. AZ Fish Room, $50 says, wanted to thank you guys so much for the anniversary wishes.
You're so welcome.
By the way, I am super excited to see the new tank build. Is that still your plan? All right, so
Yes.
because we cannot afford to buy a $50,000 aquarium, we can probably build it for about
8 years ago, it would have been about 7,000. And the price of everything, the acrylic for the window, the fiberglass, the trucking for the thing. I mean, it's just the prices of these tanks have skyrocketed, which I like because I've got a whole bank load of tanks out there that I own.
Yeah.
If I ever get in trouble, I can sell them tanks.
Well, you know the cost of steel, the cost of concrete. You guys know I'm an engineer for the city, and it's hard for us to find concrete right now. Like, it's a day by day basis. Like, I manage millions of dollars in projects.
He does.
And
His last project was like $19 million, and he was heading it up.
And we have big concrete slabs being poured, and they're being canceled up to the hour because the concrete plants are out. That's because one of the biggest concrete manufacturers actually got involved with ISIS, and they got hit with a huge fine, and they shut down production.
Wow.
So right
You
now,
heard it here first.
It's bad all over.
And I hope you guys like that Tracy update. I didn't get to close it out, but that's the things I got to tell you. She's just a sweetheart, and she's fighting hard. She's coming back. She's doing more things. Every week it's more things. She's never hit a plateau yet, so I have great faith that she's going to keep on going. It's taking a slow time, but it's going to keep on going. She's my baby. I've seen her fight through things, and she is not scared to fight. She is. The last time when she broke her hips in 6 places and they had metal bars around her, she was in their recovery room, working out. And the girl next door was like doing 5-pound weights, and Tracy's over there with 25-pound weights and doing 30 reps of it. I'm like, she was so sore the next day, but she wanted to prove that she can outlift every girl in that place. And she did. She works hard. When she was out here with me, she worked with me all day, and she worked hard. She was such a good hard worker. I've never met anybody that will work as hard as her and put up with me all day. She did it.
Bless her heart.
Bless her.
All right, so back to that tank build question. Yes, it's still in the works, but it's not a priority right now. The priority is, maintaining the rescue, getting these 135 set up that our awesome friend Anthony built us to stand for, getting that 1,000 set up, then offloading all these, fish to Brian. Once we have that, we can probably scale back our operation just a tad bit to take down 2 tanks. Then we can move everything around. Then we can have room to start building.
He's sort of right up until what he just said. Just remember, you're going to see the new tank coming in when you see us moving out that 600 and the dog bone tank. We've got plans for the dog bone tank to be on the edge of the pool pond, and it'll overflow into the pool pond. And you give some fish some hiding areas underneath and that kind of stuff. So when we do that, next coming is the build for that tank, which we need outside to do. So it won't be this winter. It will be next summer to build that tank.
Outside.
No, that's going to be 20 foot long. I need an area like the driveway, 20 foot long to build these long walls and do all this stuff. I'm not going to do that in the pool room or on the back deck. And
you move the tanks. You have a 18-foot wide by 20-something foot long path. And
when I built the 3000, I did not cut none of the wood or put it together inside that room because of all the sawdust going everywhere. Air pump sucking it up, getting plugged it up. Yeah, that'll be next summer. Beginning of next summer is when we will definitely.
All right. Let's put this into perspective. We had that 3,000. That's 16 by 6, and
6.5.
we had to get a lot of guys there. I don't don't know if we have enough friends to carry in.
But we got friends. We got friends.
But I mean, yes, the framing can be built outside, but the rest of it really has to be done in place, you know. And I want to put this tank up on, you know, at least full 4x4s or something like that. I don't really want to build it on to the ground because that was the biggest mistake we noticed with the 3000. You know, if a leak happens or a flood happens, that wood is constantly stuck in water, and it takes
even if it's a
forever to
leak
dry
from
out.
another tank, it gets the whole floor wet, and then it makes the whole bottom of the 3000 wet, and then it stays wet, and it takes for 2 weeks for it to dry out because there's no air going by the bottom. You know, so if we had it up off the floor, we'll be better. We learn from our mistakes. The 3000 is doing great, but we will make the next one up off the ground.
And we'll have the build that much better, that much nicer.
Yeah,
be good. All right, we've got Holden Cambrum says, Bigrich and Josh, can I put a marble Takara catfish in a 125 for about two years? Yeah, but then it's going to outgrow it. The marble Takaras can get over 3 foot long.
We have
They'll get
probably,
about that big around. They are big, beefy catfish, and they need a bunch of room.
and I love, like when I had all mine in the 3000, and I'd go to feed, they would come up and they're what do you want to call them, tentacles? They're barbels. They'd come up and that's how they taste. You know, people think their barbels is what,
Sting
sting you, or whatever. No, that's basically, picture them as a tongue. So their barbels come up out of the water and they're like touching things. So I come over there with the food and their barbels would come up and be like, all over me, and I'm like, that is so weird,
We learned this in grade school. Please keep your hands and feet and all objects to yourself.
So I used to
Do you
love
have
that.
to deal with on a daily basis?
I used to love that. Now that they're in the 4400, we throw the food in, it sinks to the bottom, and they go and eat that. So, about 2 years and they get too big, but I love the marble Takaras long barbels. They'll if you have an open top tank, they will come up and just put them out of the tank and just touch you and feel for food. And oh my God, I love those fish.
Are a majority of our stands steel or wood? Majority of them are steel.
Yeah.
So a lot of these larger tanks, like we built a stand for the 1000, and it's lasted 12 years now that we've had it up and going. It might even be 14. We've had this house close to 12, and we had it up at the old
2
house
years.
for like 2 years. So yeah, 14 years, and
It wasn't running. It was sitting outside with a heater in it with a camera.
No, you're talking about the 4000. I'm talking about the 1000. We had it
Oh
set
yeah,
up in the old.
that was
fish
set up
room
in
for
the
like 2
old
years.
in the garage I built for the house next door.
Mm-hmm.
That was my fish room for at least 2 years. I think that was like 3 years, and because we had
So
that
at
tank
least
when we
14
went and
years.
got the 4400. The fish room was already up and running. I couldn't fit it in that garage.
So at least 14 years. Wood stands do well if they're built right. We overbuilt the hell of that stand.
Yeah.
But
Every 1 foot is a joist and a rafter of 2x6s on the walls, 2x8s going across the center, and which leaves us hardly no room inside. You can fit some FX5s on there, but other than that, it's hard. You get in there, you have to turn around in your belly, and you have to army crawl back out.
but I will tell you this: with as many times as we've flooded that fish room, we put a decorative facade on the outside,
Yes.
and the bottom of it is torn out. So it could do with a little revamping of the stand, but the main, meat and potatoes of the stand is pressure treated 2x6s, and that's still in great shape. So the stand itself is still good, but as many times as we flooded, that fish room, it's been, what do you got there? Huh?
Look at this. It has a hook in its mouth and a string going all the way up to here, like the fish is caught on a fishing line. This is a fish mount that our buddy Jim Sheasley brought to us. Dropped it off. I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. That is awesome. Look at this piece of wood that it's on. And I can't wait to hang this. It's been
Pretty
sitting
cool.
here. It's been sitting here waiting for Friday so that I can show everybody before I hang it out there. This is a big old, trout, and just beautiful. Look at that. Look at the pinkness in it and the color and the spotting. That's amazing. Look at that face.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you, Jim Sheasley. He is the man. I mean, anytime I think he can't get more awesome, And I keep telling him, you don't have to buy us things. You don't have to, bring us stuff. But he does. And, he's such an awesome person.
All right, we got Mary W. $10. She says, couldn't attach my question, but she's wondering if you still have Tracy OFR t-shirts available.
Oh, of course.
That we do. He actually just fixed the spring website, so it is all back up. If you go below any YouTube video, there is a link to our Teespring, or our Spring, I should say now, and you'll be able to see the whole shop on.
In other words, under the video, you'll see products. If you click on any one of them products, it takes you to the store, which is now called Spring. It used to be Teespring, and then you can click on any one of our items in there. And, there's like a subdivision of Tracy merch, which has the koi and the Team Tracy logo and all that stuff, and the leggings and the baby little jumpers and all that kind of stuff. And then you got, Bigrich merch where, it says, or I'm sorry, OFR merch where it says OFR, or, what does that say on the bottom of my shirt? Giving fish a bigger home, or what was the other line we had on the t-shirts?
Stay fishy.
Stay fishy, my friends. And then you have the Josh merch, and then you have the Reaper merch and all that stuff. It's all there. Just look under any video on YouTube, and you should see what they call a bar, toolbar, or a merch bar, and click on any one of those items, and it'll take you where you can scroll through all the different shirts we got and different products we got. There's phone covers, there's blankets, there's pillows, all kinds of stuff.
People are asking what kind of trout that was, and it was a rainbow trout.
Yes.
Jim Cheesley, $10. He says, thanks. After seeing yours the other day, what type of geophagus is that so I can order one? Jim, to be honest with you, I don't know.
No. We're going to withhold that information, Jim.
I can look it up real quick. I do not remember
He is a
it off the
beautiful
top
fish.
of my head.
Oh, my God. So beautiful.
All right, you take over for a little bit. I'm going to look this up.
We now have one of our followers, and she's been here many times. Nice lady. She wanted us to do the Pakai chip challenge, so she bought us. And then I informed her. Hold up. I informed her that we've already done that. We had Reaper, me and Josh, and then Reaper's two sons were here. And we did the challenge. Josh actually won that challenge. And I didn't take the last chip. We had like 8 different bottles of hot sauce and then the Pakai chips. I didn't do the chip. The last hot sauce did me in, and I was like, that's enough.
You want to do it now?
No.
Why not?
So anyway, if we do that, we're going to have people here.
Are you chicken?
Yes, I'm chicken. You can call me chicken. I can assume that. No problem. I can take that. I'm very well.
A million Scovilles?
Yeah. So anyways, the last time we did this, one of Reaper's sons, you guys know him as Ken the Mudman. He did that pond for us and sunk up to his chest in mud.
No, this is hotter. This is the Reaper plus the scorpion pepper.
Yeah.
The scorpion.
So he left our show that night and went straight to the hospital. So there's nothing to mess with. We can do this, but I would rather have people here like Hoover and I don't know, a few other people. Like, Roger would be a good candidate for that.
I'll take you down.
He thinks he's so mighty because he won the last one. I was one away from him. I didn't take the last one. He did. And
I did it twice because they didn't think I did it the first time.
Right.
So I did it twice. All right, Jim. That is a Geophagus surinamesis.
You sure about that?
Surinamensis. I will screenshot and send it to you. But it is also known as the red striped earth eater.
Oh my goodness. He's gorgeous. I mean, like anyone that sees that fish is like, oh, what is that? And he's just so gorgeous with the long fins and the color. Oh my God, he's beautiful.
Never mind, I'm not friends with Jim on Facebook. I can't send it.
How can you not be friends with Jim?
I don't know.
Jim, send Josh a friend request. My goodness.
No, it says we're friends. I don't know why you didn't pop up. Here we go. There you go. I just sent it to you, Jim.
Good man.
All right, back to the show.
Sue Ann says, I have done all of the chip challenges and all of the Coco Loco chocolates. They're not that bad. Well, Sue Ann, we have an introduction for you. Come on down to the live stream and do it live with us. We have 3 of these chips.
The chips are nothing. The chips are nothing. I mean, there's
the last one
spicy
was
and hot.
something, and it sent somebody to the hospital.
That
was the only one you struggled with.
He did the chip fine. It wasn't until he got to the end. It was 4 million Scovilles, and
Oh, that was the end by I forget
he-
what it is.
he kind of cried a little bit.
Ken, I'm sorry, brother. We would never put you down. I love you, man. I would never say that online. Josh did that.
Like,
Oh my goodness.
no, there is a difference. You know, we have this hot sauce that's only 800, thousand Scovilles, but it kind of hurts more than the 4 million. The 4 million is definitely hotter and will hit your stomach. If you don't have the stomach to handle it, it'll definitely mess you up. But this 800,000, it hits your throat and your mouth absolutely instantly, and you're just like, you're kind of like dry heaving, and you're wanting water and milk and whatever. Just get this out of my mouth.
Here's the difference. We have something called Satan's blood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, it hits you instantly, and it's worse than the couple after it that are higher and supposed to be hotter. So he is right there.
But the 4 million will hit harder and last longer.
I had my neighbor back at our old house, and his name was Raphael, and it was the middle of winter. I'm like, just take the tip of the toothpick and just dip it down in the bottle, and just the tip of the toothpick, put that on your tongue, And he does, and he goes, as soon as he touches his tongue, he's like, oh! He's like running around the house. He's going to the front door, the back door. I'm like, what are you looking for?
To the snow.
He went outside, hands and knees in the snow, and he's looking up the snow. I'm like, are you all right? He looks up at me from in the snow. He goes, ah. And he goes back to licking the snow. Funniest thing I ever saw in my life. He didn't want to have nothing to do with any of the hot sauces. Oh my God, that was funny.
Okay, so,
We have the bomb. Sue Ann says, I want to try the bomb. Beyond insanity. I don't know if there's different levels of the bomb, but we have one called the bomb.
There's the atomic bomb, which is 15 million Scovilles. It's like $500. I have not invested in buying that hot sauce yet.
So we have a lower version of it.
I will try it. But there is one thing that is supposed to be pure evil that, caps it all, and that's pure capsaicin. And I have yet to try it. I will, but there's gonna have to be something in it for me. I mean,
He's like, I'm not going to risk my life and family for this.
I've tried Carolina Reapers. There's another one above it. They just tried the new Scorpion peppers. I haven't tried them raw yet, but I will. They don't really scare me that much.
Aaron Gazzoli says, you two on First We Feast would definitely go viral. I don't know what that is. Is that a show or something that they do hot sauces or something?
No idea.
Never heard of it.
People are asking, what are we doing with the muskies? So for right now, we are growing him out. We are getting him big and fat. Right now, he is attuned to tropical water. So now that I can bring him up in tropical water, once he gets big enough, I could then put him into a predator tank, and then we can grow him out and eventually have him in the monster pond. That is the ultimate goal, because having a 4 or 5 foot pike in that monster pond would be awesome. We have, teeth. We have more teeth. We have even more teeth. Goonch catfish, tigerfish, amara, muskies.
Amara wolffish.
That is, where I like my fish. Like, I don't know what it is, but I like fish with teeth. Like,
all right. Chris Trav says,
mess you up.
what breed was the extra large size dog Rich used to have? And that was a Great Dane from Weeping Willow Great Danes. You guys got them. My kids went there, and I guess the dogs were 800 to 1200, and they picked out one that was the 1200. And because it was my 2 kids, What'd you guys have, like 400 or something?
No. You got this story wrong. The dogs were like 2,500, and I texted the breeder and said we only had 800, and she felt bad for us. She said, "You guys are sweethearts. Come in and take the dog."
They're
that you
buying the
want."
dog for their father, and I didn't know.
Yes.
So they went and picked up this dog and chose him and brought home a blue Great Dane. And after about, I'd say 8 months, he lost all the blue and turned black. So he was black the rest of his life until, he got to 9 years old, and then his whole face turned gray, and the tips of his ears turned gray, and his paws turned gray. And then, he died shortly thereafter. His body in one, like, we were like, "What's the matter, boy?" He's laying down. He usually don't lay down during the day. He was always like a big puppy. And we go out to the fish room, and he's laying down, and we're like, "What's the matter, boy?" And he kind of lifted his head, looked at us, and I'm like, "Tracy, you're going to have to call the vet." So Tracy goes in the house to call the vet, and she comes back out in about 20 minutes, and he had already passed. And I've got the video, and I can't even watch that video or show anybody that video because Tracy lost it. She laid on that ground and hugged that big puppy, and then we had to pick him up, and he was like 200 pounds, and he was the biggest Great Dane I'd ever seen. And Josh and Mikey carried him out, and we dug a big old hole and buried him out there. And
Middle of winter.
yeah, it was rough, but you got to do what you got to do. But he was my buddy. He was awesome. I love that dog. He listened so well, and he was such a little puppy. I mean, he'd come, at the old house, he'd come into the living room, and he'd just like walk next to you, turn a little bit, and plop his butt down on the couch. His front legs and his head would be on his front paws, and his whole back end would be sitting on the couch. I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Why does he do that? And then every once in a while, he would get up on the couch because I told him he's not allowed up on the couch, But he would come over and he'd be, nuzzling with me and this and that. And I'd pet him and, I'd give him hugs and stuff. And then he'd nuzzle a little closer. Next thing you know, he's on the couch doing circles on me, trying to sit on me. This big, huge dog. He just wanted to be next to you. He was such a great dog. If anybody ever gets a chance to have a Great Dane, they are such a lovable animal. I would love to have another one again, but I don't want to take on more jobs, more feeding, more cleaning, more training onto what I've got right now until this gets a little easier. Because I always want an Irish Wolfhound, which is bigger than a Great Dane. And
I hated these dogs. I don't
want any Irish Wolfhound from any breeder, because there's some that about the same size as a Great Dane. I want to find a breeder that has oversized Irish Wolfhounds, because the one I had when I was a kid, this thing was a monster. And, he stood up on my stepfather's shoulders, and his head was like, at 8 foot. I mean, his paws were down here onto my stepdad's shoulders, and he's looking down at him. And this dog was huge. Her name was Kiri. And we actually had somebody that broke into the house, and this dog went after him and got shot through the mouth, out the jaw, into the chest, and out the side, and still took down the assailant. And, she died by the time the paramedics got there, and the cops got there and all that. And we're trying to find it was like 3 a.m. We're trying to find a vet, and she passed away on us from that gunshot wound. The guy shot her twice. The second one, went in her like tailbone area, and like off to the side, like her butt cheek, I'd say, and then out her back of her leg. But the first one went in her mouth, out her side, and then in her chest, and then out the side of her chest. And she still took that guy down. That guy was, "Get your dog, get your dog." She was a beautiful dog. I loved her. Listened so well. I want one so bad. So that's going to be my next dog when I'm ready for a dog. We have a puppy now. I wish I could show you the picture. I can't believe it's not gone already. I've had 2 people that, said they can't live without her, had to have her. And that's what I'm looking for. Somebody that would love this dog. And it's all white. It's beautiful. Got pink skin showing through. It's like a American bulldog, a mutt type thing. But it's a gorgeous dog. And I can't believe we still have it. It's hard for us to take care of him. Or is it her?
Him.
And
Doogie.
that's right. And it's hard for us to take care of them. But, I thought I'd put one picture up and I'd have 1 million people wanting them that night. And it's been 4 days and we still have them, So we're having to walk them. We're having to feed them. We're having to take care. And we just, it's taking on more work than we need, So it's a beautiful dog. It's a family dog. Came from a family and they had to, this lady was crying to give him up. They moved into an apartment and the apartment wouldn't let her keep her dog. So he's 2 years old and he's so smart. Oh my God. Sort of sneaky smart. Like I put him in the fish room thinking he can run around in here.
Dog's an escape artist.
He opened up the sliding door and he's out in the pool room. And, he knew he was wrong. And I never scolded him or anything. He just knew he was in the wrong because I come walking out of the house and I walk down into the laundry room and I hear this dum, 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 and it was a dog coming up the stairs from the basement, hits me in my legs, runs past me, goes back in that door that's only open so far, and then I go into the fish room and he's sitting there in his corner on his blanket like, "What's up, Dad?" Yeah, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I'm like, "You little sneak." Okay, Jason Fuller says, "Can you use a canister filter for salt water? I have a pea puffer and a 40-gallon. Could put that in salt water and would it survive with other fish?" Yes, you can. A wet sump type
Puffers
filter.
should not be in salt water.
Why do you say that?
Pea puffers are freshwater
No,
puffers.
they're what do you call that when they have salt and have fresh?
Brackish?
Brackish water fish. And they can go to salt water, they can go to fresh water. Yes, you can look that up. But you can set up a saltwater tank just to get past this. A saltwater tank can be set up with a canister filter.
While most puffer fish are brackish or saltwater,
Right.
pea puffers are true freshwater fish. They do not require salt and can't tolerate even brackish conditions. They
Oh.
should not be kept in salt water whatsoever.
You heard it here first. You looked it up on the internet.
He's probably thinking about a spotted puffer or a figure 8 puffer. Most of them can, grow up in freshwater when they're young and need to be converted to salt as they get older. So, pea puffers stay real tiny. They max out at about an inch long.
Yeah. The little guys, only about an inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 10 of them, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, yeah, enough. Enough.
I try and do my best at memorizing all these fish. Even if I don't keep the fish, I at least have some sort of knowledge on them. Whether they should be fresh, they should be salt. I'm not a huge salt water guy. I still know a thing or two about salt water fish.
Even Moby Dick of Happiness goes, pea puffer in saltwater? ?
My mistake. It's a green spotted puffer.
There
yes,
you go.
Those can go in salt. So if you start them in fresh, they can go fresh for a little while, but they do the best in salt water. And yes, a canister filter can and will filter salt water aquariums. The thing is with them is they get a little bit more gunked up in salt water, so you got to do a little bit better at cleaning them from time to time. Usually with saltwater tanks, you do sumps, and it starts this whole process. You want fudge lights, you want refugiums, all this good stuff. Pull this chat back up.
Okay.
I'm really struggling with black beard allergy in a tank with live plants. I've
Join the crowd.
only got it for 4 hours of light a day. Please help.
Turn the light off. No, yeah.
Nuke the tank.
That's
Start over.
You can keep the light off at all. There is a residual light for daytime in a house. Even though your curtains are closed, you still see light in the house. You can have no light on your tank, which will help your plight. Get Chinese algae eaters or flying foxes.
Here's what you do. You take the fish out. You put them in a tub for 2 days. You put the filter on it. You put the fish in there. That they are safe. You nuke the tank with hydrogen peroxide. Kill all of the algae. Restart your plants. Blackbeard algae is one of the hardest algae to get rid of. Your
So you have to
algicides
remove
won't work.
all the plants in your tank to do this.
You have to remove every speck of Blackbeard algae. Yesterday, Brittany had moved the peat buffer tank, and she said I scrubbed, all the wood. I thought I got it all off. She put it back in the tank. It's all there. Stuff is a nightmare.
There's
to
microscopic
get rid of.
microbes of it, and it will just continue to grow. That's why I like the flying foxes and the Chinese algae eaters, because they eat the Blackbeard algae, and they're nice small fish that stay small. We've got 2 in our 150 in the front, and just the wood in the front is covered with Blackbeard algae, and then all the plants were covered to where they couldn't grow. You couldn't even see the plants. It was all black. And they got it down to where all the plants are growing now, and you see all this new growth, and it's green and all that, but the Blackbeard algae on the wood is still there. So either we have to add more, or we got to do, like you said, with the hydrogen peroxide.
Someone mentioned a dragon puffer they had for 16 years. They are awesome puffers. The thing with the dragon puffers, though, is you can't have them in with, much of anything else. They're a very aggressive
Same
puffer.
thing with the Mabu puffers.
And they love to dig in the substrate. Some people get lucky with the MBUs, and they can have them in with fish. Ours, we cannot. You win some, you lose some. Hit Pittsburgh. We had him in the community his whole life. The only reason we took him out was because the people complaining online, which we should not have done.
No, we shouldn't have left him in there with him.
It ultimately led to his demise. I mean, well, he lived
died
a
of
long
old
life.
age.
But
30-year-old puffer.
But I mean, if we would have had Pittsburgh in the 1,000-gallon and not put Lavaca in with them, he might have lived for 6 more months. Who knows? It's possible.
Yeah.
You can't really say.
No, he lived a long life, and his older life, he lived great until we put him in with Lavaca, but she tore him a new asshole.
Ooh.
Yep. Sorry, my bad. Tore him up, and we had to separate them, and then he healed, and about a year later, he died on his own of old age. He was too old. They're only supposed to live, 15 to 20 years, and he was already up, or 12 to 15 years, I think it was. And he was already at 22 when we got him, and then maybe, I think it was 26 when he died.
Easy Fishroom says Blackbeard and diatoms are so hard. Well, diatoms, I've got a trick for you. Diatoms are pretty easy. So the trick with diatoms, they love stagnant, slow-moving water and lots of light. You do one of two things, you'll get rid of the diatoms really quick. Up your flow of water going through the tank, the diatoms can't stick to all the surfaces. You'll essentially get rid of the diatoms in the water. 2, you cut back on light. So there you have it. So you remember we had diatoms in that 600-gallon ray tank for a couple months there. We were fighting it left and right. You were cleaning that window every 3 to 4 days. And now I put extra filtration on it, extra pass through, air bubbles moving the water around. And you really haven't had to clean that tank all that much lately. So it's been great.
Brittany's Nibbles says, definitely Hoover. Reaper is a lover, not a fighter. Don't let him fool you. I've heard of a couple things over the years. Reaper and I don't want to say things, but he got into it with some young kids and, busted his knuckle wide open on this guy, and, he's been in different scraps. He can hold his own.
Mary W, $2 says, are you guys going to the Aquashella in Orlando?
See, they always do that too early. It's still winter here. And, we've got so much to take care of with Tracy that we're not ready yet. So we've missed the Aquashella in Florida for the last 2 years. We made it to Chicago the year before. This last year, Chicago's date was on the same date as Mara's birthday, our nurse. And, she wouldn't move. Well, I tried talking to her, moving her birthday to the next weekend, and I'll work for you, and let's get this figured out. And I do that all the time. And, she had plans of people coming in from out of town. So, she she said no, and I can't blame her for that. It's her birthday, and I couldn't go to Orlando, so I had to skip that one. And I think that's what kind of upset them, because we told them we're coming to Chicago and they didn't advertise us at all. Usually it's Bigrich and Josh from Ohio Fish Rescue, all over the pages on every one of their advertisements. But there was no advertisements. I think they were like, well, he's got home problems. He probably ain't going to make it. And they didn't advertise us. And we made it to Chicago. So
Kind of made us mad.
no, Tim, stop it. I understand completely. But anyways, there's been times when I was like, my birthday was on a Wednesday, and I'm like, well, I want the whole weekend. So let's celebrate it this weekend. And I don't celebrate it on Wednesday. I celebrate it that weekend, and the kids take me out to dinner, or me and Tracy do something, and then we party and drink and have fun and whatever. You can change the day that you celebrate, because it's your prerogative. It's your birthday. And it wasn't in the cards for Mara, because she had people coming in from out of town and couldn't change all that. So, it's not her fault. And it was her birthday, and she had a good time. I worked for her that weekend instead of her working for me that weekend while I was gone. But that was her birthday, and it's what friends do for each other, So I had to miss it, and I guess they just didn't understand, but there was nothing I could do about it. It was a last minute, and boom, and so let's move on.
All right. We've got Victor. Oh, clicked off. Victor Albert.
Did you say Clicker?
Victor Albert. He says, question: how do I convince my wife to let me have more tanks? Do I just need to remarry? LOL, JK. I have a kid that's not an option for 16 more years.
Take your wife out to the pet stores and let her look at the fish. And whatever she finds, it might be an oranda with the double tails and the big wen on its head. It might be a koi with the butterfly fins, and something's going to catch her fancy. You do everything you can to set her up a tank with those fish and give it to her, because you want her to be happy. And once she's happy, she's like, oh my God, I understand. Honey, I love these fish. Now I get why you love your fish, And she'd be much more understanding. That's how I got Tracy into it, because this is a sickness. Let's not kid around. It is a sickness, and you want more. You want more. You get 100-gallon. You're thinking that's a great size tank. Now I want a 300-gallon. You know what I'm saying? You get a 300-gallon. You want 1,000-gallon. I thought my 1,000-gallon that I bought brand new from what was that company that closed down? Tenacor. When they closed down, they had some spare stock in there, and I got a 1,000-gallon brand spanking new tank for $4,000 delivered to my house. And they brought two semis. They backed one semi up with the tank on it, and they backed another semi up back to it. And then they used their forklift to move the tank onto both, the lifts from the back of the truck, and they put it on both lifts, and they lowered it to the ground. And then, that's how we got it. It was amazing. I thought that's the biggest to-end-all tank I'll ever have. I'll never have more money I can spend on any other tank, blah, blah, blah. 2 years later, I bought the 4400, and it sat in my driveway for 2 years in the snow and everything. It's just crazy, It's a sickness. And get your wife involved. Make her happy. Get something she likes. And then go all out for her.
On second thought, you might just have to remarry.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, we got Kyle Hernandez, $2. He says, where is Josh's Sabiba shirt? The Sabiba shirt will be coming back, pretty soon. It's starting to get cold here in Ohio.
What did Sabiba mean?
It was Adidas flipped around.
Oh, that's right. Because the camera angle, yes.
AZ Fish Room, $10 is just curious. Can you ask the chat, what are the most iconic moments of OFR so I can improve the intro video we're playing with?
Okay, AZ, I got a couple things on this. All right, at the very end of the video, if you listen to our original, you hear it and it's like dun, 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 and at the end it's like something and it ends. I need that ending to match up with the ending of the video, which we don't have on there. I did it on mine. I edited it, but now you can tell the difference where it's going. Bam, dan, 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 bam, dan, 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 dan. It cuts it off, like not in time, right? So we need to shorten that up. It's 30 seconds. Our last one was like 13 seconds. We need to shorten it up. So at the point where I have the chicken wing or the chicken on my things, there's like 2 seconds of silence, and then I start talking. Cut that 2 seconds out. Do that all the way through the video and make it shorter and cut out any silence. It's a great intro. I like it, but we can improve on it. Then put the music on there over it, because what I have is your end result. I can't separate the music from the talking. And if I mute this and put my own music to it, there's no talking. You know what I'm saying? So me and you got to work together on this to make it better. But as he's asking, any of you guys got some things you remember at high points through OFR over the years, something you would like on that beginning, maybe where, people got pushed in the pool or somebody fell, or remember that tank hitting you in the face, something like that.
No, I don't. I just have a perfectly good scar on my pretty face here.
So if you guys can bring up...
Wait, it's right there. See that? You see that? That's a 500
If you guys
gallon.
can bring up any points that you remember that were high points that you remember, it sticks in your mind, that's what we want on that opening. And AZ, I'd like to do an outro with you, because that one we got is just some music, and it's not us. So we can do some video outro with some music that ends and goes out,
Oh, so, look at this. We got a picture. He's watching Daddy.
Aww, that's baby Alora.
So you guys get a little sneak peek. She's playing on her mat. She's
watching Daddy on TV. Alora's watching you.
She is.
Remember that the rest of your life.
All right,
guys, hit that like button, please.
Yeah, Lori Kish just chimed in for $2. Says hit that like button, everyone. Thanks, Lori.
Oh my God! Seriously, I just pulled it up. Great minds think alike, Lori.
Flood City Fish Keeper said it's my wife's 50th on Saturday. Give her a happy birthday, Diana.
Hey, happy birthday, Diana!
Happy birthday.
You reached 50. Doesn't it seem like, all these kids that are like 30 and younger are like too young to anything? They just seem so young, and we're not old yet. I still feel like I'm 35 or something, and I'm 58 now. Is that my age?
No?
I don't know. I was born in 63.
20,
September of 63.
59.
I'm 59? Shit, I lost a year of my life. I still feel like I'm 35 and I shouldn't be old,
It's for the square jar.
I didn't swear.
You said...
What?
You said shit.
Now, fill the square jar. Silly boy. Aaron Cazzoli says, my favorite moment was when Bigrich and Tracy went to California to get the Bellagio tanks. I watched the entire trip. It was awesome. Oh my God, that was great.
This one. Steve Mochin said his favorite moment was watching Big Rich drink toilet paper rolls.
No, let me get to that next. This one here, it was a great trip, but, it took me, the first trip, 72 hours, there and back, I was up. And then the second trip, I planned for a 12-hour sleepover in California. So we left, and now the truck, I'm going to say breaks down, but no. I went inside while Tracy, she's going to pump the gas. I'm like, okay. I went inside to get some snacks and this and that, and I come back out, and the tank's filling. Here she filled the diesel truck with regular gas. We got about 10 foot past the gas pumps, and it shut off. We had to, call the company that we rented it from, this and that. They got us towed to a place. They drained the whole tank. They drained everything. It took 12 hours to fix this truck, and we're back on the road. Meanwhile, we're sitting at this truck fixing company. There's no waiting room or nothing. We're sitting in the mechanic's workshop, pulled up some chairs. It was cold. We did not get no sleep. So the second trip, I was 92 hours. So here, the first video starts off, and me and Tracy are going. And I'm like, hey guys, Big Rich here. I'm driving the truck and Tracy's video. Big Rich here on the trip to California. We're on our way. Yeah, this is awesome. The second video, hey guys, yeah, we're almost to California. Yeah, it's you know, it's gonna be great when we get there. Third video, we done picked up the fish. I was so tired. You get back on the road and we're like, hi guys, it's all bad. I keep hallucinating. I'm driving. I can't fall asleep. We have to get home. We got fish in there. They can't last. I can't stop for a motel. We got fish. It's all bad. And you can just see me just like slumped over, you know. By the fourth video, I get home and it's 92 hours I've been awake. I get home and now mind you, I put a big 5,000 watt inverter under the hood of the truck, hooked it up to the battery, ran 2 extension cords, plugged into it, down the side of the truck, taped it on with Gorilla Tape, and it ran across my steps, across the side of the truck, all the way to the back and up in the back. We're running all of our pumps, heaters, everything off of that, which worked great. But when I got home, it was, what was it, 2:30 in the morning?
Something like that.
Pitch black. I back the truck in. I go to get out, and both feet catch the extension cords. Now, I'm driving an F650, so the truck steps were like this high. You know, I hook both here, and I start falling forward. Well, on my way down, I'm thinking, you got this, Rich. You're a man. Land in a handstand or a push-up. You got this. I land, and all of a sudden, something hit me on the side of my face. It was the ground. I had busted all 7 tendons on this arm, holding this whole shoulder, moving my arm left and right. 7 tendons snapped off of my shoulder. And the ground came up and, like, kissed me on the side of my face. Kind of hard. Josh comes running, Dad, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. I just can't move this arm. I had to go straight to the hospital, and I told them I've been up for 92 hours. You're going to do surgery? Fine. You don't even need anesthesia. I'm going to sleep. You know? It was the worst trip ever. But you know, we had so many fish that Vincent Wu had given us, and I had to get them home safe. You know, so I mean, I did it. 92 hours straight of driving. I did it, but I hurt myself bad in that situation. So that's one thing. And now, what was the next one? I said, hold up. You just mentioned it.
I'm already on to the.
No. Yeah, no. It was. Come on now. The drive to California, and then the last thing you just read. Come on, guys. Tell Josh. This kid's losing his mind.
We've got OBG Foster $2. She said, add the video of Josh pantsing someone. That was Rod.
That was Rod.
And these ones are going to come at you rapid fire. Suan $2 says, paying for the swear jar.
Thank you, Suan.
Jim Sheasley $2. He said, Rod sending in the diaper. That was pretty.
Oh, that was epic. Rod sending in the diaper. Write that down, AZ. I mean, Josh came at me, and I threatened to punch him. I was like, don't you, Josh, I'm serious. This ain't no joke. You stay away from me with that. I thought it was his son's real diaper.
You get that thing away from me right now.
Yeah. I was like, Josh, I'm going to hit you. Don't come no closer. And he kept on pushing. And I'm like, Josh, I'm warning you. AZ also put down the toilet paper roll where I drank the toilet paper.
That
I can
was
live with that.
removed. So that is
I have it.
OBG Foster $2 also said swimming in the 4400.
Right. Kathy Apane says my favorite was the Mudman. Now there has been no other video as funny as Ken sinking in the mud up to here. And I'm telling him, don't walk towards the pond. It only gets worse. And, you know, he's carrying one side of the net. Josh is carrying the other side. And he walks towards the pond. I'm like, I told you. He sinks down. I'm on the shore. I'm losing. I cannot speak. I'm laughing so hard. And he's over there, and he's trying to get out. And he is stuck up to here in mud, muck at the bottom of the pond. It was hilarious. Oh, my God. I felt so bad for him afterwards watching his back. But at the time, I was laughing so hard. It was, and it was, the laughter was catchy. You know, anybody that saw it was laughing. It was, oh my God, it was the funniest video we ever put out. It was great.
So, someone said my favorite moment was when Rich was telling the story of that monkey that attacked him. That was the funniest thing I've seen on this channel.
I still got the scar from that right here.
Look Look at them pasty white arms. You know, from your elbow down, it's tan. From your thing up, it's like Casper.
It's the same thing with my legs. I mean, it's all white,
Pretty
you know,
boy legs.
because I wear them legs,
I mean,
and then
no
you know
hair
these
on there.
arms. Even though you know they're huge, you know, I still wear the shirt. So that you know the
Look
arms
at
are
him
there.
trying to flex for you guys.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we got 4 minutes, guys. Let's get some good stuff in the chat. What do you think about mangrove jacks? Do you have experience with them? They are great fish. They are aggressive cichlids. They are beautiful. If you can get them alone in the tank, you know, like a 220, 300, they'll probably be the only thing in that tank. But if you put them in a larger tank, like something like we have, you'll have no problems with them. They'll get along with
Ooh.
the community just fine.
Reaper getting stung by the stingray. They can have a little short clip of that.
Yeah.
You know.
See, but the thing is about them intro videos, you won't want to kind of limit them to 10 seconds. You don't want this long, drawn out.
We don't
thing.
want 30-second video. We need to cut back on that video, which I like your intro video.
Which I already worked with them and cut it back on the new one. You used the first unedited one. I worked with them and cut the original down. I just
Okay.
couldn't figure out how to download it for the life of me, and I finally got it today.
Okay. Well, he also needs to end the music has to end at the end of the video with the da-na-na-na-na-na. You know, it ends with it, so it closes it out.
Brittany Zibl's $50. She said the live where Bigrich, Josh, and Hoove all had Bruce sent in and were biting each other. Love you guys so much. Thank you for meeting us at Aquashella and letting us hang out with you. You guys are exactly how you are on live.
Aw, well, thank you. I wish you guys could have stuck around more. You should have came into the shell and hung out there, and you know, you could have signed some autographs. You know, people will know you. You know, you're part of the OFR crowd now. So anytime that we go to any of these shows, if you show up, you can sit there with us. You know.
The Fahaka guy, $10, says, "Look at that farmer's tan." LOL. Would you guys keep a Fahaka long term? So we had what Puff Daddy for a long time. We ended up rehoming him to a pet store. He's not now the mascot.
He's the mascot at the pet store, and it says Ohio Fish Rescue on there. He's still our fish. We gave it to
Dogs.
Boggs Aquatics, and you know, and it's we made certain stipulations. He's got to be in the tank by himself, and you got to feed him. So you know they're doing great, and you know the fish is doing great, and he's still there. It's like we're taking care of him, but he's there on display. The problem we have with those type of fish is it's a one fish per tank type fish, and we can't spare all of our tanks for you know the Maboo puffer, the electric catfish, the electric eel. Them are one tank per fish,
Yeah.
you know. So we didn't have the room for him, so we got him, and you know we rehomed him and put him to where people can see him, and they see him all the time, and he's a great fish.
People are asking me to extend the chat, and I personally cannot. I've got people coming at 7:30 to pick up fish, so I have to end at 7:30, unfortunately. Let's see, a couple more questions here. When the other piebald albino gar is going into the pond? By the way, one of my favorite at the rescue, those two and the platinum gar, of course. The other one might not ever go into the pond. He is a semi-short body, so he grows a heck of a lot slower than the other one right now. So he might live out his life in this 2200.
Sue Ann says, yes, we need to go back to the 8 o'clock live. Please. We can do that. I can do that. But he leaves at 7:30, period. That's all there's to it. He wanted less time. You know, I can stick around, but...
And the problem we had was truly, honestly, the analytics of the video. Yes, there's 400 people or so who are on. Maybe in the upcoming days, we might have 2,000 views on there. But if you look at the analytics side of it, it's an hour-and-a-half long video with only 2,000 views. And that kind of hinders our growth on YouTube big time.
Right, because we usually get, 1,000 to 1,500 views per hour, and then it says the video's doing good. Well, on our lives, it's like this video is not doing like, the rest of your videos. And then, YouTube decides in their logical mind that, oh, well, they're not doing so well, so we're not going to push them out there and spread their videos because they're not doing so good. The lives, I think, shouldn't be involved in the algorithm for the YouTube, because I could do a 12-hour live, and if I only got 200 people on there the whole time and we're having a great time, well, that's all that matters. We're having a great time. But no, it hurts your YouTube logistics, basically.
Is there a way to reduce the subscriptions to $1 a month?
I have, most of the subscriptions are $1 a month.
I
I have $1, I have
lowest was
$5,
$5.
I have, no, it's, well,
You
go ahead and look, yeah. I have $1, I have $5, I have $10, and I have $50 for the Arapima.
Because if it was $1 a month, you can go as long as you want on a live that's on, for...
That's only for members.
Right.
So
So if
all
you
you
paid
members,
$1
we
a
could do
month-
that, but it's doing no good for us other than the members that are there,
Right. All right, how do I do this?
Travis Sparks says, by far the live with the monkey story. Laughed till we
Okay.
cried. It was
Yes,
hilarious.
the cheapest one is $5 a month. If we did a lower tier, a $1 a month, and move the lives to
And
the
move.
subscriptions,
Okay.
I'm sure everyone on here that can't afford the 5, they can afford the 1 a month, and
But
be
then it
able
would
to,
no longer be public. Right
correct,
now it's
it would,
public.
It would just be to the members. I mean, right now you're not getting no one from the public. You might get someone new to the channel that comes on and, hey, this is my first live. But you can also put out a community post about it. Come join us.
Oh, yeah. Eric, he says, don't forget about Surfer Hawks a lot.
Yeah, but that went back to Eric.
Yeah, you got him now. You don't forget about him.
So yeah, you should look into reducing the memberships of $1 a month just for the lives. And if we do that, you can go as long as you want. You
And
can
it
get
won't hurt
this,
our
You can
algorithm.
get this man for 3 hours. I'll be in bed napping, and
I'll be drinking out of toilet paper rolls.
OBG Foster $2. He said the live about big decks.
Oh my God, the turtle thing
The
and the
turtle.
Dex thing. Oh my God, that was funny.
All right, guys.
Just to let you guys know, Greg Woodstock has an 80-pound, huge snapping turtle, alligator snapping turtle named Woody. And Josh brought it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that turtle's awesome. Greg has the biggest turtle around, and they're all,
biggest turtle, huh?
seeming this turtle is meaning something else. So they're laughing at me when I'm talking, and I'm going on, and I'm like, yeah, this thing is heavy. It's like 80 pounds. And he's laughing his butt off. I didn't catch on for a long time that they were thinking turtle meant something else, So I'm like, yeah, Greg Woodstock's got the biggest, baddest turtle around, It's so heavy, blah, blah, blah. And finally when I caught on, then I found it funny, but I didn't catch on at all.
All right, guys, I have to go and fish some fish out of the quarantine tanks. We are getting rid of a few, so I must sign off. I don't know what you're planning on doing, but to all a good night. It was fun. I got to roll.
Oh, man.
I got
You
50
put me on the
rhythm.
spot instead of saying, we got to go.
All right, we got to go. Let's, all right, wait. We got to go. So I got to go fish some fish out. They'll be here at any minute. We got some red tails and pacus and stuff leaving.
Yeah, and someone texted me tonight. They have 3 big, huge pools, and they want whatever we have left after tonight.
Okay.
I'm like, well, send me some pictures, and I want
Yes.
to see this, and what temperature do you keep them at? And they said
And
said 75, and I'm like, well, you got to remember these fish are all from the equator. They're
it's
80 to 90 degree water.
That 72 is 72, 74 is ideal.
Yes,
for
the way I
tropical.
explained it to them was, okay, that's like you living in 60-degree weather with no coat, no shoes. Yes, you can live, but you're more susceptible to diseases. You're more susceptible to viruses, this and that. The fish don't have a way of putting on a coat or shoes, Get them warmer and they'll grow faster, they'll eat more, they'll move more, they'll be more sturdy and more prone to not catching viruses and diseases.
All right, for the record, before we sign off here, I just want to say my dad held Greg's 80-pound Woody. All right, guys, it was
You're
fun.
horrible.
I will see you all next week on
We love you
another
guys.
Stay Fishy
We
Friday.
will think this over, and try and go back to 2 hours for the live stream and move it over to the members only. So, and lower the price of the members to $1. So, thank you for everything. We appreciate it. We love hanging with you guys. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Appreciate
And
it.
from the men with the biggest of decks, we will see you all next week. As always,
From the bottom of our hearts, stay fishy, my friends. Oh my goodness. You're killing me, Josh.
And to all, a good night.